shit. I just, sorry. I just like smacked the computer. Okay. I wanted to make a recording about the IFS session that was just done on myself with my colleague. So I had a experience last week, and I'll go into that more later on, but I just want to touch on it because it like has to do with what came up in my system. So I said yes to getting a massage from a man that ended up being a sexual predator in my town. Just like, so, something in me attracted that. And I know that. It was a whole thing. So saying that, I noticed in the situation, there was fawn. There was, after I unwound it, because there was a part of me that just gaslit the shit out of myself about the whole thing. It was just like, no, this is fine. No, you're making this up, and that is so classic for people that have been abused and had narcissistic parents. Because my mother, there was a part of her that knew that my stepdad was a pedophile, and she knew that. She shared that with me when we were in the car. I was a teenager. And, but she kind of she knew, and then she was groomed. And then at the same time, she got special things for allowing my stepdad to have certain access to me, and so, within myself has been, it's almost like my mom's voice of, no, it's not, that's not, this, and that's not that. And, you're kind of, you're making it all up is really what starts to be the narrative, is that you're making it all up. Spoilers, you're not making anything up. And so I got to see these different dynamics: the freeze, the fawn, the disassociating, and the no, you're making it up. No, you're making it up. So I got to see those while some really nefarious things are going on. So in my session, I met a part of me that was the happy-go-lucky, sees synchronicities and thinks it's like a gift from God. And so there was lots of synchronicities in the situation. And this little happy-go-lucky, she's skipping little girl is like, oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to be a friend of mine, because there were so many similarities between me and the massage therapist. And so it seemed like, right on point. If you're familiar with synchronicities, it's really easy. You're like, oh, well, we're learning that it means pay attention. Just pay attention. It's okay to be excited, but just pay attention. Don't just cast all your cares aside. Right. And that's really what this little girl does. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then I got to meet a little girl when I was 8, and she was still on that bed, that scene from when I was going to get molested. And there was an aspect of me, there was a part of me that was like, I've done all this work. I've done all this work on this, this one fucking scene when I'm 8 and I'm about to get molested. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? We're here again. Yes, we're here again. We're here again. And, she was still on that bed. She really wanted to do something different. She wanted in that moment to be able to say no and stand up to him. So I was in the room with her. I sat in the bed. And I really could see the room. And then my stepdad comes into the as you're, deep in your, your system, and you're in that scene with your inner child, who is the one that actually experienced it. I haven't experienced that. And I saw Chuck, my stepdad, come into the room, and he was young and he was in the outfit. And it was the first time in that memory that I saw him young like that. And I was blown away. I was like, oh, we're doing something here. Like, it felt like really real and impactful. It's like, okay. And so he came over, he started doing his thing, bent down at her, below her, and, starting the grooming and stuff. But I couldn't hear them talk. I couldn't hear, like, their lips were moving, but I couldn't hear them speaking. And so when that was happening, next thing I know, she smacks him and tells him no. And we both run. And it was this really cool feeling. It was like when you did something and you're running and you don't want to get caught. And we like went and hid in some kind of cave or something. I don't even know. And we were just like, oh my God, is he coming? Is he going to find us? And so there's like glee and excitement and just like terror at the same time, like balled up in that experience. And so what was interesting is for myself and my experiences is that we have recreated these experiences hoping that we can change the original experience. And that's really what was going on. And I had no idea, but there was like this deep longing in me to change the original sin, if, for lack of better words, right? And and to understand that and to know that it is so powerful for me. And so she did. She changed the experience. Does that actually change what happened? No, that did happen. And at the same time, it's somehow there's some kind of like magical thing that happens within our brains when we can, in that moment, respond differently. And just rewires and changes everything. And I'm not gonna, it really does. Everyone throws up the neuroplasticity and all that stuff. Well, yeah, it does. And I'm not going to get into a science thing with you, but I can tell you, I've had this is what they call in IFS as a redo. When you redo something, it really does change things in you. And that's what we needed to do. And she got off the bed because we ran, and I showed her, I was like, you're not on the bed anymore. And she's looking around going, oh. So I wrote recently about the little girl who was still frozen on the bed, and I talked about her, but I didn't think, hey, I need to go and like do a session with her, and I'm a healer, I'm a practitioner, and we don't always like know the magical thing, for ourselves. Like, so there's no shame necessary. Shame just stops us in our tracks. It doesn't do anything. It keeps us stuck. So what I'm trying to say is that even though I have all this experience of healing, and I'm a very happy person, and I live my life like gleeful, childlike. I enjoy most everything I do. And I still have like this innocent part of me. I used to, because we don't do that anymore. But I had this little innocent part of me that would take over the system. And it was a child part. And then the part that says it didn't happen, can get that part to let go of the sense of, I know, because we have really great intuition. I have really great intuition with people, but in that moment, it was fucking gone. It wasn't there. There's no shame in it. It's just, that's where my healing needed to happen. And here we are. So I just wanted to share that. Just like this inner child work, it's so intricate. And there's so much wound up. Like, I was sitting there looking at my parts that made the mechanism of freeze, fawn, disassociate. It's like all like this. And there was like so much, I'm still unwinding it, but there's so much like contraction in my body because it takes a lot of effort to stay in a creepy situation. And at the same time, it's not even a choice. A lot of people, I'm going to make a video about that, but there's a lot of like victim shaming in this situation going on. And it's like, You don't understand until you are that person in that situation, and that there is no options there. If you could have got up, if I could have got up and left, I would have fucking got up and left. And that's the truth. And the staying there, and then those mechanisms of freeze and then fawn, because I realize I'm sitting there making like light of his jokes and laughing so that I keep him comfortable and keep myself comfortable. And we're just having a really, everything's normal. So many times my mom told me that everything's normal, right? So what I wanted to end with is that there's no reason for shame, because there was a little girl in me that was still frozen and still in that frozen trauma response on that bed waiting to be molested. And so now she's not there anymore. So all I can say is that this is really good. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope this is helpful. Take care.